Welcome to Cook With Me TV. Thank you so much for tuning in at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You're watching another healthy meal in the making here at Cook With Me TV. If you're new to Cook With Me TV, what we are is a live stream cooking show hosted by registered dietitians, and we teach you how to cook meals that are both delicious and nutritious. My name is Ashley Thomas. I'm a registered dietitian, and you can find me cooking right here every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the show, you can always go back and watch the replays on our Facebook page. But welcome. If this is your first time, give me a hoot and a holler. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm really excited to be sharing these meals with you, or these dishes rather, with you tonight. We're doing healthy Asian tonight. Asian is one of my favorite cuisines. If it is for you, let me know. Give me a thumbs up and let me know, what is your favorite dish? There are so many wonderful Asian dishes, so many. I love stir fry. I love stir fry, especially at home, because it's one of the easiest things that you can whip together. It's very hearty and filling and just delicious, lots of flavor going on. So I hope to replicate that for you tonight and give you a few tips that can help you up the ante on your stir fries. So, hey Melissa, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you here. Are you cooking with me tonight? Let me know. I hope you're doing well. It's been a long time. We need to do our happy hour again sometime soon. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are going to be doing a stir fry, and we're also going to be pairing a miso soup with it. So let me know if you've ever made miso soup at home. If you're not familiar with miso soup, you've probably had it at a sushi bar or a Japanese restaurant. It's a very simple broth-based soup. You essentially mix miso paste with water and you got miso soup. Of course, you can doctor it up a little bit like we're going to do tonight, which I'll show you in a few seconds. So let me know though what your favorite Asian dishes are. I love to hear what everybody else loves. Hey Janice, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Do you like miso soup or Asian cuisine? If so, let me know what your favorite is. Melissa, I know, miss you girl. I already had something in my crock pot, but I'm making stir fry tomorrow. Awesome. What's in the crock pot? Let us know. The Monday night crock pot. I need to jump back on the crock pot game for nights that I'm not cooking live, because I just get lazy. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is get 4 cups of water in our pot here. Got my measuring cup. And miso soup is something that you can make ahead of time and just keep in your refrigerator and then heat it up and just whisk it whenever you're ready to eat it. It's a little a time saver tip there. Ooh, chicken enchilada soup. That sounds good. Sounds real good. Do you put like crispy little wonton things on top? That sounds so good. Okay, so we're gonna bring this up to a boil, and then we'll turn it down to a simmer. And what we're also gonna throw in here is a sheet of nori. If you're not familiar with what nori is, it is dried seaweed. And I know it sounds a little fishy, and it does smell a little fishy, but it's not really gonna give it a fishy flavor. It's really just going to add to the depth of this soup. If you're not familiar, or even if you are familiar with Japanese cuisine, fish is a staple in their diets, which is probably why they're so healthy, right? So lots of sea vegetables, seaweed included, and sea animals, well, fish mostly, it makes up a lot of their diet. And so seaweed actually is a great source of omega-3s. We hear a lot about omega-3s with salmon and mackerel and tuna, but seaweed is also a good source. This is where those fish actually get their omega-3s from. So those fish are rich in omega-3s because they're eating lots of seaweed. So this is the source of omega-3. Janice is saying stir fry with frozen oriental veggies and leftover chicken is my go-to. I love it. Yes, leftover chicken. It's the perfect way to use up that leftover chicken in your stir fry. And yeah, having those frozen vegetables on hand makes it even faster. So Janice, you probably have the fastest stir fry recipe ever. Melissa, chicken thighs, red pepper, onion, fire roasted tomato, chicken broth, and spices. Oh, that sounds so good. I might just cut the show and come over to your house and eat. All right, so I'm just going to tear this guy into quarters and let it cook in there. You can take it out once it's done cooking. We're just going to, like I said, let the flavor from the seaweed just kind of season the water. Okay, so we'll put a lid on that and we'll let that come up to a simmer, and we'll let that simmer while we're prepping the rest of our stir fry. Come on over. Come on over. Okay, so we're going to be doing a sweet potato in place of our grain for tonight. So when we talk about better blood sugar, we're not saying that grains are not healthy for us, but this is just another idea or another way that you can introduce a wholesome carbohydrate into your stir fry. Of course, something like a brown rice or a quinoa or a barley, a really hearty whole grain is going to be the best grain of choice when you're doing a stir fry in terms of nutrition. But if you didn't want to do a grain, but you still wanted a wholesome carbohydrate, a sweet potato is good too. Sweet potatoes are lower on the glycemic index compared to most grains, so they're not going to spike your blood sugar as high. And so this is very important for people with prediabetes or diabetes, lower on the glycemic index. So see how we are compromising, right? We're not completely cutting carbohydrates out of the meal, because doing that doesn't actually result in favorable blood sugar levels. Instead, we're introducing a healthier, lower glycemic carbohydrate. So you can have your carbs, you don't have to completely restrict them. So that's the first thing that we're going to saute up. So I'm going to get that chopped up so we can get it going. The sweet potato is going to take the longest to cook out of all of these veggies, which is why we're going to get them going first. And of course, the smaller that you cut your sweet potato, the faster it's going to cook. I wonder if they have riced sweet potatoes. Is that a thing? You know, they're like ricing every vegetable. I swear, every time I walk by the frozen produce section, there's like a new riced vegetable. Riced cauliflower, riced beets. I think I saw riced carrots. So in the past, I've made stir fries without any kind of carbohydrate to go along with it. So no sweet potato, no grain, no rice, no starch. And honestly, I was hungry like an hour and a half later. And as I was trying to fall asleep, my stomach was growling. I was so hungry. So like it didn't hold me enough. So don't feel like you have to go completely carb-free in your meals. Now maybe today you had a really big breakfast, you had a pretty big lunch, you ate a fair amount of carbohydrates during the day, and you weren't as hungry at dinner. Then you would probably be okay not having the carbohydrate at dinner. It really pays to listen to your body. Okay, so we are going to get a little sesame oil drizzle in our wok here. I've got the wok on about a medium heat. If you don't have a wok, you don't need one, but you're going to want to use a pretty big skillet. We're going to do about half of a tablespoon of sesame oil in there. And of course, any other kind of oil is going to work. Sesame is going really well with the flavors that we have tonight, so that's why I'm using it. Does anybody have any questions about Asian? What are y'all's favorite Asian dishes? I see we have a few more people on, but I can't see who it is. So if you're watching, give me a hey. I can't always see who's on. I don't know if it's a Facebook thing or what, but anyway. Okay, so let's get these sweet potatoes in our pan, and we'll hear them start to sizzle. Kiki is eyeballing me right now. Do you want a sweet potato? She's so cute. Hi, Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Good to see you. We'll see you Thursday, right? Okay. Kiki would like a sweet potato, which means in order to get a sweet potato, she needs to do a trick. Come here. And the only one that you'll be able to see her do is stand. Well, let's see if I can get her to stand and turn while standing. You stand, turn, turn. Wow, good girl. Man, I hope you guys caught that. That was amazing. She doesn't usually do it on the first try. Oh, that was wonderful. Good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. Okay, we're gonna season our sweet potatoes with a pinch of salt. And while these come up to heat, let's get our onion and our garlic chopped, because that's gonna be the next thing that we're gonna wanna chop. I know, right? Kiki's got skills. She's got skills. All right, we're gonna do half of an onion. We can do any onion you like, any onion you have on hand. We're just going to, I like to slip the corner of my knife under the skin like that. You can see that. It helps me to like pull the skin off. Well, most times. Maybe we get both of them going. There we go. And then you can pull it off. Easy. And I'm just gonna do a chop here. Set that aside, and then we'll get our garlic going. Garlic always in stir fry. And if you don't want to buy it fresh like this and mince it up yourself, get the prepared garlic that's in your produce section. It's in a jar. And just throw like a tablespoon of that in there. Excellent for gut health, excellent for flavor. And excellent as a cancer preventative. Good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and stir those sweet potatoes. Ooh, yeah, looking good. So I'm cranking my wok up pretty high here. And so with a stir fry, you typically want it at a high heat while being able to frequently stir it. That's why it's called a stir fry. You can see our nori and water is boiling here. And your nori may kind of like disintegrate into your water, which mine has actually done. So what I'm gonna do is taste it. Actually, I think I'm gonna drain the nori out. So if you just drain this over like a sieve, you'll be able to get those pieces of nori out. Or you can leave them in. You don't have to drain them out. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and throw our onion in here now and our garlic. It smells so good. Does everybody like miso? Miso soup? Hey, Elizabeth. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. We're just cooking up some miso soup and a chicken broccoli stir fry. And I was in the midst of asking if everybody likes miso soup. Just curious. I have an infatuation with Japanese cuisine ever since my husband and I went to Japan on our honeymoon. And everywhere we ate, they served you a little bowl or a cup of miso soup before every single meal. Every single time they have some miso soup before they eat anything. Leads me to wonder, is that the secret to lifelong health? I don't know. Shall we try? Hi, Mary. Good to see you. She's saying, looks yummy. It smells yummy too. It smells delicious in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna chop up our chicken. And as Janice said earlier, she really likes to use leftover chicken in this recipe, which would be a huge time saver. So if you can do that, absolutely do it. But I just changed my mind real quick, actually. We're going to chop up the broccoli first because I want to chop the chicken last on the cutting board so that I don't get raw chicken juices on too much of my veggies here. It shouldn't be too much of a concern because we are going to be cooking the broccoli. But I don't know, I just have an order of things I like to do them in. And I'm going to throw this broccoli into a bowl until we need it. This is going to be the last thing that we toss in to our stir fry. So let's talk about sauce. Sauce boss. What kind of sauce do you like to put on your stir fry? Do you buy a sauce at the grocery store? Do you make your own at home? Do you keep it simple? Just soy sauce? Or no soy sauce? What do you guys like? We're just chopping this broccoli up into bite-sized pieces here. Janice also mentioned that she uses frozen vegetables, which is another great time saver. And you can buy like an Asian blend, so broccoli, snow peas, water chestnuts. And that would be a super quick meal. All right, I gotta stir that real quick. Woo! Hey, Kathleen, how are you doing? We need to schedule our date here. We keep talking about it. We gotta get it on the books, or heaven knows it won't happen. All right, last bit of broccoli. You can also buy broccoli pre-chopped in your produce section. Another super time saver. We have so many time savers here. Okay, now for our chicken. I did get some chicken thighs, and this, for whatever reason, was the only brand available with chicken thighs, and they only had skin on. I usually buy skinless just so that I don't have to deal with taking the skin off. So I'm gonna cook up well, we'll see how big these are. But usually I do 2 thighs per. Oh no, are they bone-in? Oh no, they're bone-in chicken. Okay, what a disaster. Usually, like I said, this was the only thigh that they had. I could have gotten chicken breast. Okay, we might have to improvise here. Or I guess I could cut around it. You know what? We are gonna do an impromptu chicken cutting tutorial. Let's hope I get it right. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna turn my stir fry off because this is gonna take a little longer than expected. Okay, we've got, oh hey Mark, good to see you, thanks for tuning in. Soy sauce for the win, love it. That's what we're using tonight, we're using a soy sauce. Ooh, yes, Melissa, sesame oil for an Asian salad recipe once. I know, isn't it so good? I love sesame oil. Nice little extra, just a little different flavor. Sounds good, Kathleen. Okay, so chicken. What we're gonna do, you can usually cut the skin off. It's usually started for you already like this, and a lot of times you can just pull the skin off, which is what we're gonna do right now. I wish I could like watch this video as Ashley in grad school when I was vegetarian and I had no idea how to cook meat. And now it's just like, oh yeah, you just tear the skin off the chicken. No big deal. Okay, so that's easy. Now, fat equals flavor. If you wanted to leave the skin on, you could. Again, it's going to be very high in saturated fat, and it's, you know, always good to monitor or lower your saturated fat intake. So if you're someone who eats animal products all day long, you should probably take the skin off. If you're someone who is relatively vegetarian or plant-based for most of the day, and then at night you've got some chicken skin on your chicken, probably not a big deal. So that's just one way that I like to balance protein, or not protein, animal fat intake. Okay, so we've got bone-in thighs here, so I'm just going to cut around the bone. Now you could just cook these whole like this and then kind of tear everything off the bone, but I want this to be more of a stir fry. So I want more chicken pieces. Okay, and then we're just going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. They will cook down. Your protein kind of shrinks up once it cooks, so don't cut it too small. But I think I am gonna save these chicken bones and boil them down because I'm gonna make some kind of soup tomorrow, and this would add some really good flavor. So if this ever does happen to you and you accidentally bought bone-in chicken thighs, and honestly, it didn't even say it on the package, so I'm blaming it on false advertisement. All right, got this other one here. We'll do this last one, and a healthy portion size of meat is going to be 1 chicken thigh per person. Really 3 to 4 ounces of protein in a sitting is plenty for the average Joe. Now, if you're an endurance athlete or you are doing like CrossFit like every single day, or you're working out really hard every single day, you can afford to have a little more protein at a time. But for most of us, we don't need any more than 30 grams of protein in a sitting, which looks like about 1 chicken thigh or 1 small chicken breast, about the size of the palm of your hand. Any excess protein that we eat is just stored as fat. So our body can't use it. If our body can't use it, it's not going to just excrete it, it's going to store it as fat. Kathleen, I know you're loving this, if you're even still on. Kathleen eats a mostly plant-based diet. She does some seafood here and there, but cutting raw chicken at home is definitely not her jam. Okay, I'm gonna pop my skillet back on. We're gonna throw this chicken in there. I'm gonna give my hands a quick rinse, although I am gonna have to touch it again, so I'm gonna just throw this in first. All right, I'm gonna rinse my hands, wash them real quick. Don't wanna spread any salmonella in your kitchen. It's never a good thing to do. All right. And then with the chicken, we're gonna pour in our sauce mixture. So I'm going to do some soy sauce. Got a giant jug of low sodium soy sauce that I've been working at. I think I've had this since early summer. I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons to 1/4 cup. And we're gonna just let this cook. And then for some spice, I like to do either red chili flake or sriracha. And I think I'm actually gonna do sriracha tonight, just because it's gonna add a little extra liquid. And I just love sriracha. Do you guys have a go-to hot sauce? I'm slowly coming around to really enjoying hot sauce. I never really used to like it, but now I love it. Janice is saying, I make my own sauce. Chicken broth mixed with arrowroot and coconut aminos plus ginger, garlic. Ooh, Chinese 5 blend. I don't have any Chinese 5 blend, but I've cooked with it before and it's so delicious. I love that blend, Janice. That sounds great. And coconut aminos is a gluten-free version of soy sauce, correct? I think that's what that is. Kathleen is watching and just looked over at me manhandling that chicken. I've come a long way. Whoa, Kiki, what are you doing? She's moving the camera. Okay, so we've got chicken going. And we're gonna let that do its thing. One other thing that I like to add, which you don't have to have, but is a nice little touch, is mirin, which is sweetened sake. This is traditionally used in a lot of ramen dishes, so the ramen bowls. And it's just, you know, it is what it says, sweetened sake. It's not super sweet, but it does have a touch of sweetness to it while also providing some acidity. So I usually just do maybe like, I don't know, a tablespoon of that. And it just helps to round out a lot of the other flavors. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of salt, a little bit of acid or tartness. Okay, and so the chicken's not going to take too long to cook either. So once you see that it's mostly cooked on the outside, you can go ahead and toss in your broccoli. And we'll let this all cook. And it may get a little dry, so you might need to add a little water here and there. Hey, Lindsay. Yes, Janice says, oh, that's right, you're gluten intolerant. So the coconut aminos, for anybody else who's interested, does not have gluten in it. Y'all, this is looking good. How's your Monday, Lindsay? All right, so I am going to turn this off and I'm going to drain out that nori. Now, there's different kinds of nori, I will say. So there are some sheets of nori that will not disintegrate like this did in the soup. So like I said, you could either skip the nori step or you could get a more hardy nori, which you can find at the grocery store. It's in the same section as the regular nori. Okay, so I'm just going to drain this in here. Ooh, I'm steaming you up. And then I'm going to pour our miso right back in. Well, it's not miso yet, it's just water with nori. And we'll set this aside. And then now we're going to whisk in our miso paste. And we're going to throw in some scallion, and then that's it. So miso paste, again, you can usually find this at grocery stores in that same section. We're going to do about 3 tablespoons of miso paste per 4 cups of water. And you do this after you've turned the water off. You're technically not supposed to boil miso because it will kill all of the healthy, beneficial bacteria that's in here. And then we'll just get a whisk and just work it in. This is one of my favorite soups. It's just so warming and it's got that umami flavor. Oh, Lindsay is saying so much homework. Stay tuned for more info about CoQ10 and its Oh, anti-diabetic mechanisms of action. Wonderful. Oh, good. I'm glad you're taking a little Cook With Me TV break. I'm very interested to hear about this CoQ10 stuff. All right, keep stirring, keep stirring. My pan's looking a tiny bit dry, and I can see there's some like bits at the bottom of the pan. If you add a little bit of liquid, whether it's soy sauce, water, whatever you want to do, you'll help get that off. I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to do a touch of soy sauce and then a tiny more bit of water. So good. Stir-fried broccoli is one of my favorite vegetables. That and bok choy. Oh, I just realized, Mark, if you're still watching, and Melissa, you can answer this. Have you started your, I can't remember what it's called, physical therapy school yet? So does that mean you're not in Charleston and you are up north? I just realized, because you guys are watching on different devices, so it makes me wonder if that's what's going on. Let me know. How's it going? This looks so wonderful. Okay. And so I don't know if you can see this, but when you let this miso soup sit, all of the miso will kind of fall to the bottom. So you'll just want to give it a quick stir to mix it all back into your water again. Okay. And then so we're just going to add some scallion into here, and then that's going to be your basic miso soup. So just 4 ingredients: your miso, your water, your scallion, and then your nori if you choose to use it. And I am going to use a different cutting board here because I got raw chicken all over my other one. And we're going to dice up 2 scallions, greens and whites, and we'll throw them into our soup. Scallions are like the cheapest flavor bombs in the grocery store. I love them so much. Ooh, yeah. Bok choy is so fun to say. Oh, Melissa. Okay, so Mark starts in January. He wanted to tune in separately. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thanks for the support. I love it. It's so funny. Whoa. Whenever I'm like doing the show with other family members around, I'm like, everybody get out your phone, tune in to Facebook Live separately, boost my views. It's funny. All right, so we are done here. I am going to turn my stir fry off. Now, depending on, how well done you like your broccoli, you can cook it longer if you don't, if you want it a little softer, or I like to have mine with a little bit of bite still left in it. So that's what I'm doing. So let's get some miso soup out. And, whoa! To go along with the theme of everything tonight, I am going to use my very special bowl that I made in Japan. I took a little pottery class and I hand built a little vessel. So that was fun. Just proof my name is at the bottom, if you can see it. So yeah, very fun. I actually do pottery. Fun fact about Ashley Thomas, I do pottery. I have a kiln here. It's been a while since I've actually done it because I've been very busy with other things, as you probably know. But pottery is very near and dear to my heart, and I absolutely love the art. And it originated in Japan. So cool. Really cool. Okay, let's get some miso soup in here. Give it a little stir. And if you've had miso soup at a Japanese restaurant or at like a sushi bar, they usually put tofu in it too and bits of seaweed. So that's another thing that you can doctor this up with. And you can actually make miso soup kind of a meal if you wanted to. You could put, you know, some bok choy in here. You could do even more like a ramen dish where you put some noodles in here and use like the miso broth as your broth base. Very simple broth to use. Okay, so we've got that, and then stir fry. Sweet potatoes, broccoli, chicken, onions, garlic, a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of mirin, sesame oil, all the goods. And for those of you that are just tuning in, we did talk a little bit earlier about, you know, we're using the sweet potatoes here as our wholesome carbohydrate instead of like a rice or even a brown rice, which you could absolutely do a brown rice. That would be a healthy choice. But the sweet potatoes are going to be lower on the glycemic index, so they're not going to have as much of an impact on your blood sugar as, say, well, especially white rice, but other grains. So it's a nice way to still get that balance. You know, we might be leaving out the grains, but we're still getting a wholesome carb from the sweet potatoes. So that is a wrap here. Look at that wonderful stir fry. I'm gonna have a bite. I'm so excited for this. Even if I had a chicken mishap. Whew, it's so hot. Thanks, Janice. If only we had time to do the things we just really wanted to do, I would just live a life full of hobbies. I should have married someone rich, probably. I'm kidding. Don't tell David I said that. He's not here right now. But he'll probably edit this video and see that, so it's just a joke. But we joke about that a lot because he's got lots of hobbies too. He likes to do woodworking. He obviously likes to run. So we love our hobbies and we wish that we could just do hobbies all of the time, and we wish that's how life worked. But unfortunately, it doesn't unless you have a lot of money. Or unless you're okay living. I guess if you live within your means, you can do that. Ooh, a little punch of spice there from the sriracha. Oh, and I forgot. If you want a little sesame seed. I'm sorry, I've got you guys crooked here. Or maybe it was Kiki. Maybe she bumped us. A little sesame seed on top. Yeah. All right, and then just a little sip of this miso soup, which they don't use, well, sometimes they use spoons, but normally they just sip their soup. Oh yeah. I mean, I love the fishy taste of the seaweed. It's pretty strong in this one. If you don't really like that, maybe do half of a sheet instead of a full sheet. It's so good. Miso soup is the best. All right. It's all about balance in life. Yes, it is, Nancy. I'm glad you like my sense of humor, Janice. Let's hope David does too. Yes, the sesame seeds. The quintessential Asian topper, right? Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting us here at Cook With Me TV. We love teaching. We love sharing knowledge. We love helping people improve their diet. So come back and see us. Like I said, I'm here every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Lindsay cooks every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we do have a couple of prenatal nutrition shows. So if any of you are trying to become pregnant, are pregnant, or maybe are breastfeeding, we do have 2 shows for prenatal nutrition. Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Jennifer Schlub cooks, and then every other Monday at noon Amy Halfman cooks. So be sure to check those out. We always post our new schedule on our Facebook page and on our website. You can head over to cookwithme.tv to check out all of our other resources, browse through all of the recipes that we have been accumulating since January, and we're slowly adding all of the videos attached to those recipes on the website to make it a little bit easier to rewatch our videos. So please give this a like if you enjoyed your time here. Please share it with others who are trying to cook healthier meals at home, and I hope to see you on later. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all next time.